Hello all. In this video we are going to demonstrate the point tracker function in FaceCommand. I'm Cameron, creator of this software, and we're going to use it to do some racing today. The point tracker is useful for analog control, like in video games and especially racing, where you want that proportional input. So this is can be turned on just by clicking it like everything else. And then you'll want to click a point on your face to track. I like to do the tip of my nose, and then I'll hit recenter, and when I hold my head in a neutral position in that moment, and it centers there. So you can see I have bars going up when I look left and right, as well as when I look up and down. And I have these set to gamepad axis left stick X for my left and right. That's the X axis. And for the Y axis up and down, I have it set to left trigger for down, so brake, and then right stick Y for accelerate. You'll also see that there's two outputs here, whereas there's one over here. The reason for that is because I have it set that way. One output on X and two on Y. That's useful because some video games want it that way. Some, like Project Cars, for instance, which we're going to demonstrate. For the left and right, the driving, they want one axis, but for the acceleration and brake, it wants two, and so we have it in the software to give you that option to make it most compatible with as many games as possible. So we're gonna start here, and you can see as I look up, gas goes up, and I have right link set to button B, which is upshift, and see that I have, let's try not to crash up, not great at this, but you can see that it's quite responsive and accurate. I can make very fine motions, and then I can blink to shift like that, then I can left link like that to shift down, all very seamlessly, and this is how I'm able to play manual transmission in racing games with just my face. I'm not using any other controls right now. What you see is what you get. I'm not clicking or pushing any other buttons. I'm losing, but it's with my face. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna just close out of this and show you just a couple more settings in here to show how it all works. So you have a sensitivity bar, which works like you think. You turn it up, this bar moves easier. I can show you if I turn this down, then it takes a lot more motion in my head to get it to move. Whereas if I turn it up, let me recenter, it's moves a lot easier. Let me click this on my nose again. That can get off if you move a bit too much, so you have to sometimes reset it. The dead zone will essentially, like in a video game, mute the first motion, and then it will rescale everything after that, so you don't lose out on any actual motion when you add a dead zone. So weight I added specifically for racing games also. Some of them, like Project Cars 2, have kind of like invisible dead zones. You can have it set to 0 in the game, but it's still a little bit there. And so being able to set a weight, either negative or positive, helps deal with things like that. And turning it negative here basically allows my input to counteract that dead zone so that it amplifies the first part of my motion while dampening the later motion. It's kind of hard to explain without showing it, and it's kind of hard to show. You kind of have to feel it, but that's what those settings are there for. And they work pretty well. Let me scroll down to show you the link right is set to game button B, and link left is set to game button A. This is downshift, this is upshift. And I've tried it in quite a few racing games now. It's fairly compatible. You do have to tinker a little bit, like I said, with whether it's 1 or 2 outputs on each axis. Also, for instance, in this configuration, you might be tempted to say, oh, I'll do Y stick as both. And it can create some issues. It works on some games, others it doesn't. So you'll have to kind of play with the settings. When you're moving around in menus, you can turn these off so that they don't accidentally drive you. I can show you what I mean. If they're on, then when I move around in the menus, you can see it selects things because it's moving the joysticks when you move your head around like this. So you can disable these to just have your mouse controls. I think that's it for this video. Might get into the modifiers in the next video. That's also useful in video games. I didn't demonstrate it here, but the way that this works is if I held left mouse button down while I wink left, then rather than downshift, it would press the X key, which in this racing game is currently set to change the view. So we'll do that in an upcoming video. So subscribe and like and all that fun stuff if you'd like to see more of this.